Bom, meus queridos, vamos lá. iFund tá aí. Acabou de colocar F. Quem morreu? Não sei. Vamos lá. Dr. Bob. SCP-4666. Espera que eu esqueci de botar o celular aqui como chat, né? Prontinho. Very good. Pelo menos pegou um dos bons. The Yule, man. Vamos ver o que o Yule Man traz pra gente aí. SCP Animation. Dr. Bob. Eu sou inscrito. Deixar meu like. Qualidade full. Vambora. Eu vi que é um papacu ali que pega a criança. Então, vai ter curiosidade. Vamos lá. Ativar a legenda. É um dos primeiros vídeos do Dr. Bob.
A child is sleeping happily in their bed, dreaming of Christmas morning. What they don't hear, as they sleep, is the sound of SCP-4666 slipping into their room. SCP-4666 watches the child for just a moment before reaching into a giant
Que susto, gente. Meu Deus do céu, mano.
bag. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob, and this is SCP-4666, also known as the Yule Man.
O Homem de Yule. O que é isso?
SCP-4666 is thought to be a single humanoid entity, but one that has been alive for an incredibly long
Já é
time.
conhecido ao longo
Those
dos
who have
anos,
come
né?
into contact with SCP-4666 and lived to tell the tale
Já é uma lenda
describe him as
urbana.
being very tall, between 2 and 2.3 meters. He also appears to be very old and very thin. He always appears without clothing, even when the weather is below freezing and would be much too cold for any normal human to survive. Though the true extent of his anomalous properties are still unknown, SCP-4666 seems to be able to travel instantaneously to any location on Earth above the 40th line of north latitude, and may actually be able to travel anywhere on the planet. Encounters with SCP-4666 have only been reported during a very specific time of year, a period of 12 nights, running from the night of December
De 12 noites que vai da noite de 21 de dezembro até as primeiras horas.
21st to the early morning hours of January 2nd. This period is known as SCP-4666's active phase, and the encounters with the anomalous humanoid creature have been termed Weissnacht events. During these events, SCP-4666 appears at family dwellings, all of which, so far, have a few things in common. 1. They are all isolated in rural areas. 2. They are in locations with snow that covers the area for the duration of the event. And 3. They are all home to a family with at least one child under the age of 8. In places that match all of those characteristics, Weissnacht events sometimes occur and always follow the same basic progression. During the first 7 nights, the children will report seeing a strange figure within the vicinity of the home. The entity will seem to be watching the home from a distance, such as from across a field or from the edge of a nearby forest. Some children have even reported waking up at night to find SCP-4666 watching them sleep through a window. On nights 8 through 11, other family members will report hearing the entity, such as footsteps on the roof or in the attic. A bad-smelling odor will also start to be noticed in the house, but no source of the smell is ever found. These strange occurrences will often lead the family to think their house may be haunted, or that they're being terrorized by a madman. Finally, on the 12th night, one of 2 scenarios can occur. In the first, which happens roughly 15% of the time, families will often report that they heard footsteps during the night inside of their house, but there is never any sign of forced entry like broken windows or doors. In the morning, the children will find crudely made toys at the foot of their beds. For the lucky ones, this is the end of the Weissnacht event for them.
Ô, louco, mano. O bicho deixa o brinquedinho e vai embora.
The roughly 85% who experience the other scenario are considerably less lucky.
Ih, rapaz.
In the vast majority of cases, the 12th night is a horrible experience. SCP-4666 still enters the home on the final night, but rather than leave presents for the children, it incapacitates the family and moves them all into a single room, where it proceeds to kill them one by one in view of the rest of the family. The exact method of killing varies from event to event, but there's almost always an element of torture that occurs before they are finally killed, and this torture may serve a ritualistic purpose. The entire family is killed except for one of the children who is under the age of 8. This child is instead abducted and placed into a giant bag SCP-4666 carries with it. SCP-4666's existence was first noted in 1974 by the Foundation's then-new Anomalous Signature Recognition Program, which alerted the Foundation to several suspiciously similar home invasions and murders that occurred throughout the Northern Hemisphere on the night of January 1st. Further research uncovered evidence for what was most likely other Weissnacht events every single year, dating back all the way to the late 18th century, with there being, on average, a little more than 3 events per year. And there's even been evidence of references to what may be SCP-4666, dating all the way back to the 1st and 2nd century AD.
Papai Noel, por isso nessa época.
Identical fingerprints have been found at all of the houses
Esse é
which
verdadeiro
match the
Krampus
conditions
mesmo,
for
velho.
Weissnacht events, and have been matched to a recovered partial print from all the way back in 1873. These fingerprints have characteristics that don't match any known human fingerprints, and the human-like white hairs that have also been recovered do not appear to contain human DNA, or any DNA at all
Não
for
é
that
algo
matter.
humano, velho.
In the rare Weissnacht events where SCP-4666 does not murder the family and gifts are left behind, the gifts are anything but normal. The gifts, known as SCP-4666As, appear to be
Caralho.
made from the bodies of children that SCP-4666 abducted from other homes. In one case, from 2018,
Pô, seria interessante, não sei se ele vai abordar aqui o motivo, assim, se é que a fundação tem esse dado, né, do porquê ele poupa algumas crianças, apenas deixa um presentinho ali.
at the home of a family in Alaska, a life-size doll made from the body of a female child was left behind. The doll was wearing a dirty dress made from sewn-together rags that was in some places sewn directly to the skin. Her mouth had been sewn shut and painted red with human blood. Another child's fingernails had been glued over her own, and 3 fingers were missing completely. The scalp had also been replaced with another child's scalp and hair like a crude wig. Worst of all, both eyes had been removed and replaced with 2 stones which were painted to look like eyes. But most frightening of all was that the child who had been turned into a doll was somehow still alive. Authorities took the girl to a hospital where she was able to give a brief interview. She explained that the man who abducted her had killed her parents before putting her into a
Caralho.
giant bag where there were other children too. SCP-4666 took the children somewhere deep below the earth in a cave system full of ice and bones. There, they were forced to make crude toys until they couldn't go on any longer.
É o Papai Noel mesmo, cara, não tem como saber, o bicho teleporta, velho.
At which point, they became toys. The girl, now known to be Ekaterina Morozova, had been abducted 2 years previously in a known Weissnacht event. She survived for only 18 hours after being discovered. An autopsy revealed many terrible injuries, and the cause of death was found to be from severe, sustained malnourishment. SCP-4666 has been classified as Keter and is currently not contained. The Foundation
Atualmente não está contido, cara. Não conseguiram pegar o bicho, cara. A fundação não tem posse dele. Ih, rapaziada, cuidado aí, hein?
monitors web traffic and law enforcement channels for any evidence of SCP-4666 activity, and especially any potential Weissnacht
Verdade, né? O bicho teleporta, não tem como.
events, such as cases of stalking reported during the 12-night active phase, or other
O único jeito de você prender seria você pesquisando como o teleporte funciona, né? E se é que o teleporte que a criatura utiliza é de modo que... É da mesma forma que a ciência, né? Mas sei lá. Dá pra matar? Eis a questão, né?
Other strange phenomena at houses with young children. Should a Weissnacht event be suspected to be in progress, the nearest containment task force is dispatched to attempt to contain SCP-4666 using the standard PDP-8 humanoid first contact protocols. So far, no such containment attempt has been successful. Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob, and be sure to subscribe
Até
as we
agora
delve further and
nenhum
further
método de
into the
contenção foi bem
SCP
sucedido,
Foundation's
velho.
classified archives.
Pô, maneiro, maneiro, velho. Bom demais. Gostei desse SCP aí. Bem da hora mesmo. É o Papai Noel mesmo, velho. Que loucura. Obrigado mais uma vez a todos que levaram este canal a 100 mil inscritos. É realmente incrível, sinceramente, não consigo acreditar. Se você viu esse vídeo nos primeiros minutos após sua publicação pela primeira vez, quero oferecer minhas sinceras desculpas. Houve um elemento do vídeo que não me deixou satisfeito depois de assisti-lo aqui no YouTube. E em vez de deixá-lo no ar para sempre, achei melhor retirá-lo e fazer uma correção rápida. Sinto muito novamente, prometo compensar você, garantindo. É isso aí, cara. Exatamente, então ele postou esse vídeo aqui, deve ter dado algum problema, ele repostou. Interessante, então. Maneiro, maneiro. Parabéns, Dr. Bob aí. Parabéns pelo sucesso, né, velho? 3 anos atrás ele tava chegando aos 100 mil inscritos. 3 anos depois aí, logo, logo tá chegando aos 2 milhões, velho. Parabéns aí, sucesso. E obrigado por traduzir, né, velho? Pra gente também aqui do Brasil, né? Porque o Dr. Bob, ele é gringo aí, faz conteúdo da SCP pra gringa. Mas ele deixa a legenda aí pra quem é BR aí, velho. Então, arigato, meu querido. A SCP pesquisa isso aí, pô. E eles têm algo chamado âncora de realidade, feito para parar poderes taumatúrgicos, mágicos. Ô, louco, velho. Enfim, muito bom, muito bom.